Let's talk about love, the good and tough. Through all the ups and downs, so we're strong enough. The marriage is work, but it's worth the fight. Let's dive into our life, shining love's lights. Two hearts, one road, walking side by side, highs and lows. Got nothing to hide, love's a journey. So we state the facts, making this eternity. Let's talk about love, the good and tough. Through all the ups and downs, so we're strong enough. The marriage is work, but it's worth the fight. Let's dive into our life, shining love's lights.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to our Love and Marriage Godcast, or we hanging out today. We got a beautiful couple of great friends of ours that has decided to bless us with their presence.
Just like this.
Because this is what I look like I'm on night show, talk show. Thank you. You know, when they do it like this, thank you very much. So anyhow, I'm Eric Green. We are working on our 6th Godcast, and this is
I'm Kathy, and I was going to say
my wife.
his wife.
Yeah, that's my wife. And listen, y'all don't understand. We have a couple here tonight that has really blessed our hearts and blessed our soul and blessed our life. They were the couple that actually introduced us to the place that we are in right now. And it's a very, very beautiful story how God connected us to be able to receive what they had for us, right? And if it wasn't for Donna, Sister Donna, and my wife, and her really actually talking my wife into everything, we wouldn't be here. But God used her. That's just our inside joke. So tonight we like to thank Pastor Brown and Dr. Donna for showing up and blessing us on the evening. Thank you guys for coming in.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Thank you.
I am excited, and we appreciate you guys agreeing to come on this podcast
And hang out.
with us. Yeah, absolutely.
So, yep, so relax. We're going to have a one-on-one like we normally do always. And all we're doing is trying to pull back into marriages, either young or old, starting over, whatever it is. We're just trying to make sure people understand marriage is not easy. It is the hardest one-on-one relationship you will ever encounter. And in some cases, it's the hardest one-on-one ministry you will ever have to encounter. Yeah. If you're a minister of God and you have to minister your wife, your husband, your family, it's a very difficult thing. But we hold fast to believing that God put people together for a reason. And that's why we're trying to bring people in. So, Kathy, we got some questions for them, right?
Yeah,
to get them stirred up.
Yeah, the first question is, tell the people, like, how long you guys been together? How long you been married? How did you meet, right?
Okay, so how long would you like to answer that?
Make sure you get it right.
Yeah,
You get it right. So she want to see if you're going to pass the test or not.
I think he's right.
Okay, we good.
31 years.
Yeah.
And tell us, how did you guys meet?
In the gym.
In the gym, as I was working out one day, and I happened to walk by. As I'm walking by, I saw this gentleman struggling with the weight. So I walked by, kindly lifted it off.
With one hand.
And just right.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And then from there, yeah, and then almost 32 years later.
I was in the gym. I didn't know her. I was working out, and I was on the cables doing flies.
Okay.
And at that time, I was a lot bigger. And she walked by and saw me, and she grabbed me by my pec and said something to the effect of, "Okay, looking pretty good," and kept walking. And my friend George, it's George Creighton, who was trained, he said, "You know her?" I said, I That's how we met. And then at that time, she was being trained by former Mr. America. And she was going in contests. She wasn't winning. And so we started talking, and then I started to train her.
Oh,
So,
oh.
I was very hard on her initially.
Yeah.
We wasn't dating or anything. We were just getting to be friends. But the thing was, she started to win. And so then it grew and grew and grew, and then it went into a relationship. But initially, it was
Just
just
Me-
friends
yeah.
at the gym, hanging out.
Man, how we don't know about this story? We
I talk about this.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Yeah, she knew about how I took the weight.
Yeah, she took one hand. Yeah, she told me that, and I believe you. I believe you. So, you know,
Okay, so then at what point did the realization kick in that we should be together? We should try to make this something.
Boy, it was so years ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You was
I think, one of the things were we had a number of things in common. At that time, what was in common was that we went to the gym.
Okay.
We started going places together. We wasn't officially dating,
Mhm.
but say we heard about going to a play or to some type of band was playing or to a concert.
Right.
I'm going to the you want to go? Yeah, let's go.
Right.
And so it just seemed that over time, whenever one was doing something, we would tell the other one.
Okay.
we found out, I think we had a lot in common.
You know, and
So when did it click? Like when did it click? When did Donna? When did you say? Okay.
I kind of like him.
At what point in that session?
Over 30 something years now. I think I think it wasn't hard.
Mhm.
Because I think if it was probably hard, then I probably would have remembered it.
Right. Okay.
You know.
Right. Yeah, I get it.
But it just seemed like it was just something natural that happened, and initially everything has its ups and downs, but
Right.
I think I just remembered it. Just things
Feeling
kind
genuine.
of fold, and it fell in place.
if
Yeah, it did.
I remember, it just happened over time.
Yeah.
And I remember I had my own apartment. This is funny, and I can cook. Believe it or not, I'm a good
Okay.
cook. And I had made lobster.
Oh yeah.
Come on, lobster will get anybody.
I made it for her, right, and everything. And I really went out to try to impress her. She ate it and everything, but she had a reaction.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
she swelled up, her eyes. Oh, it looked like she and Joe Frazier when it comes around. And so I was really nervous, and so I said, "You got to stay here." I didn't want her to go home. Her mother saw her. There's no way she would feel, And so that night she stayed. We didn't do, we were straight. But then I think I took you across the street
Yeah, I think I
the
went to-
doctor,
yeah.
because there was a
It was like
doctor's
urgent
office
care or
I
something,
used to see across the street.
Yeah.
And he then gave her some pills and everything went down. I was like,
But
whoa.
then I was fine. After that, I could eat all lobster then though.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, so I don't know.
Must have been the one that he gave me. That
Whatever pill he slid in.
So I was trying to get your attention.
Okay. The reason why I asked that question or drilled down on that was because a lot of people fall in love, right? Then get into marriage and then fall out of love and don't have nothing else to remain with it in the marriage, and now you want to split. But as you say, you allow it to gradually build its place and this time and this course, and you got what you have now, right? That's the reason why I asked that. So we want to make sure people understand falling in love is not love. That's an emotional high.
Right.
That's a great feeling,
which goes away.
which eventually, it goes away.
Right.
Yes. So now when that woman or that man evolves and that person is not evolving with them, that person starts to feel like, well, he ain't the same person I married, right? Well, that's because you was in love with that time, that frame, that period. But genuine love is built off of just allowing it to
Absolutely.
flow, right?
Absolutely.
Build on what you're saying. One of the things I talk about when I talk about marriage is none of us stay the same.
Right. Right.
Donna and I were married 31 years, but the things I used to be able to say to her and how we played 31 years ago.
It's actually 32, I believe.
If I did that nowadays, you'd probably look at me and say, he must have lost his mind, or that is a funny joke. Because both of us are changing through the years.
Yeah.
Both of us are maturing through the years. I'm different now. There's, I think differently, I act differently.
Right.
But hopefully that in marriage, when people join together, we try to incorporate in our marriage
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
certain behaviors, certain things that we grow together and have in common. Now,
Yeah.
even though it's never 100%,
Yeah.
Right.
because you're an individual and I'm an individual. It's like even certain TV shows. Donna likes comedy. I like a good horror movie. So if you came in the house, you see me in the living room and Donna in the bedroom. We still have a good marriage.
Right.
We have different likes and different dislikes. But I think on the main things, you try to have some commonality and doing vacations together, being involved. We're involved with a lot of the same ministries in the church. Certain things we do in the community, so on and so forth, business, so on and so forth, to where we're involved in things that make us work together.
Right.
And I have to hear her ideas. She shares I share my ideas with her on ministry, on certain things, on running the house, or buying this or that. And that keeps us
In your own
Yeah.
lane.
and growing
Together.
together.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
This engagement is still going on. But oftentimes, to me, with individuals, in some marriages, they separate.
Yeah.
This is my thing,
Yeah.
you stay in your lane. That's your wife.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I like that.
She ain't saying that I like. She's in your car, right?
Right.
Marriage is also a commitment, and this is. I just want to say this real quick, but I think oftentimes when individuals get married, they don't realize the importance of when they're standing in front of that pastor, that preacher, or whoever, and he's saying, doing good and bad, rich or poor.
Yeah.
You are answering to say, I'm making a commitment to you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And what I'm saying is, in this commitment, that I know we're going to have some challenges.
Right.
But you're the person I have chosen to go through those challenges with.
Right. But that comes with a level of maturity too.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I got married at 19. My ex-wife was 18. We married out of great convenience, meaning I married because I was having a son and I wanted to do the right thing. She married because she knew that I would do the right thing with the son. So this is convenience, right? We don't get me wrong. We loved each other, but we loved each other from a child's perspective, a young adult perspective. That commitment you're talking about right now, we did not know what that mean, right? So when I tell them, thank God we're in a position to teach our children that. You need to be in a place where you understand what marriage is all about before you say, I do, or will you marry me? Right. And that, to your point, it's one of them things where I really believe when we start to do what we're doing right now, pouring into things so people can hear this, they'll make better decisions when it comes to marriage, right? That's where I'm going to believe that me and Kathy, God has given us the opportunity to have this God-cast and present mature marriages that have been developed as of now.
So, no, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Because I know you guys, right? Pastor Brown, Dr. Brown. You guys, your lives are so busy, right?
And different.
You're different, right? You're committed with not just each other, but with the church, with your business, with being a doctor, being there for your patients or the students. How do talk to us about how do you find time for each other? How do you balance? How do you tie in work-life balance? Talk to us about that because I know couples who struggle with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it took time for that to occur. I think for us, what helped probably better is when Gordon retired. So with him retiring and us moving to Florida now 8 years, it made it a little bit easier. Okay, example, something simple. In when we were in New York, in Jersey, we always say Jersey was our home base. We
Yeah.
lived in Jersey, okay, but Gordon worked in New York and I worked in Philly.
Jeez.
You know, and then I had to pick the kids up. But in addition to that, we also had we had a really good lady that was our cleaning lady, which was someone that we trusted for over 10 years at our house. I don't need a cleaning lady now. My husband is retired.
Let's
So-
go. Let's go. So you're saying I need Eric to retire? That's what you're saying.
And I'm still a man.
Yes, right. But in addition to that, my schedule, even with how my schedule is, I'm able to balance it because it's a blessing that the college example is closed on Fridays. So I know that okay, if we need to take a long weekend, I can always do it start on a Thursday evening
Yeah.
and then
Right.
take a long weekend, and I can fit certain things in. In addition to that, I'm off during the summers, so I can always plan. So like now we're looking at okay. All right, I'm looking at spring break now. I already
Yeah.
know what spring break is. I'm off that week. Should we plan something that week? Or should we? And we're looking at summer now.
Right.
So I think we try to even though and it's very busy, we try to plan in advance the
Yeah.
time, try to fit the time in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to write it into your schedule. What Donna brought up was very important when we lived in Jersey because I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning
Oh.
to go to work.
We
I was I took the bus, Academy bus, and was close to 2 hours each way.
Right.
So I get up, I be in the bus at like 6, and then get to the stock exchange, and I leave at night, and I got home at
Yeah,
night.
those winter
And so
times.
it was very challenging. But one of the things that we had practiced, and we even do now, and she was talking about, excuse me, sometimes you have to write in your schedule
Yeah.
That's right.
that whether you want to call it a date night,
Yeah.
whether you want to pre-schedule your vacations, whether that this is going to happen. Let me. What happened just now? I thought I remembered something I did one day, and I won't ever do it again. But we were living in Jersey, right? And so I said to Donna, I said, why don't you take tomorrow off?
Oh yeah.
She remembers it. And she said, oh, you want me to take a personal day? I said, yeah, we'll have a day together. So she calls, she takes the personal day. So in the morning, I'm having breakfast, I'm watching TV, and I'm cooling out. So she keeps looking at me and walking around. So later in the afternoon, around noon, she said, well, what are we going to do? Where are we going? I said, we're not going nowhere.
You just
She said, what? She said, what do you mean? I said, I just like you in the house. And so I say, I'm the type of person. I just like your presence.
She's gonna be
Your presence, walking around and seeing you and yelling down, saying, they love me. That means a lot to me. But oh no, we're doing something. I just
I'm you, Donna. I'm you.
And so I had to learn that if you are scheduling something, it isn't going to be in the house. You're going to take me out somewhere. And so, but I was trying to explain to her that I'm the type, just your being around me is enough.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, but,
Yeah, look at that again.
He said, I just want you here.
I done took the day somewhere. That's me. So we're not gonna do nothing today.
One of the things that I know I probably haven't shared with you, but one of the things that I admire about you the most is how you handle your finances, right? And also, I don't know, you're the first Black supervisor on the stock market floor.
no, there were others, but I think I may have been like the fourth or fifth.
Okay, okay. So you've been in that space for years, in a long time. And you know, I thank God that He put you in my life. You ain't got to say a word. I just watch your actions, I watch your deeds, I watch how you handle yourself with it. And you have made me become very conscious of how I now invest, how I now spend, right?
For sure.
You've made me and Kathy pay attention to that. What are some of the things y'all could share with a marriage, you know what I mean, that's struggling with their finances because they're not paying attention to their finances?
Well, my answer on that would be that one, you gotta start asking yourself some questions. Do you want a future?
My God.
Number one,
For sure.
That's the right. Do you want a future? And if you do, then you have to be disciplined with your money.
That's the word.
That's the word.
You
Yeah.
have
That's
to
my word.
have. I had a great thing happened in my life. I was favored with meeting Warren Buffett, and a friend of mine, Warren came down to the job, and I actually was able to sit down
Yeah.
with lunch with him.
Nice.
Now people spend millions of dollars,
Right.
and so while sitting there with him, my mind was running. Saying, ask him what stocks to buy, ask him this, ask him that. But I didn't. I asked him one thing. I said, Mr. Buffett, can you do me a favor? He said, what? I said, tell me your habits. And he looked at me. He went, no one has ever asked me that. Why? I said, because I personally believe that people who are successful are not successful by mistake.
Right.
I think they have habits, things that they do repeatedly.
Well, that's spot on.
Day in, weekend, month in, year, that are saving and who they stay around or what they surround themselves with, and that those things lead to success.
Okay.
I said I also believe when people are failures, they don't fail, that they were doing habits, behaviors that led to failure. And I said, so there has to be some habits, some behaviors that led you to be as successful with money and building wealth. Now, also saying that, I also believe, like in this telecast, that successful marriages have successful habits.
Yeah.
What are we doing habitually when a young man gets married? You're still hanging out with the boys.
Yeah.
You know, you have to have habits and behaviors that you do repeatedly
Right.
to build a strong marriage.
Right.
And so habits.
And you have to be in agreement too, because I think it's important that, because I think statistically, probably money is one of the main things.
Yes, ma'am.
Divorce.
It is.
Man,
It is.
So is it, I don't know, I'm just saying, is that somebody isn't paying the light bill or whatever, and then they divorce and then you find out that, oh, he had $50,000 saved or 100,000 and I didn't know anything about it. So, I think also being able to communicate, put the finances out there and being open about that is it.
I like that I'm sorry.
Go
Go ahead.
But we're living in a time where young people think differently.
True that.
And Gucci, big cars, everybody wants to look nice.
Yeah. And broke.
young girls with,
Yeah.
with eyelashes. I mean, people don't buy cheap things no more. They buy expensive things, and very few young people, very few young marriages who sit down with their husband, with the wife, and they say to one another, for the next 4 years, for the next 5 years, we are going to save like there's no tomorrow.
Right.
And we're going to build ourselves up a treasury to where, okay, we're in this apartment right now, but 5 years from now, we won't be.
Absolutely.
We're going to build it up. I'm going to put this in my 401k. I'm going to get that matching. You're going to do the same. We're going to start reading books on finance. We're going to start looking at CNBC. We're going to start looking at Bloomberg.
Right.
We're going to learn about how this Bitcoin works. See, those are the habits. Those are the
Yes.
interests. And that's how it works as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, so I have to say I learned a lot from you when it comes to stock, because I remember too me texting you and say, ask Pastor Brown, what does he think about this? And we always communicate that way. But going back to the finance, I totally agree, and I like that you said that. You have to come together, right? Eric and I, we put our money together, right? Eric pays a bill. I don't pay any bills. Sorry. We put our money together, and he will go in and make sure all the bills are paid, and then say, okay, here's what's going into savings. Here's what we have to kind of splurge a little bit, right? But we set a goal, what we want to do, and we've had these conversations where this year, we're working on some projects, but this is what we're going to allocate to savings. This is what we're going to allocate to our project. This is what we're going to allocate to our time.
Right. And it's not like you don't pay bills. We pay bills. Right.
I don't log in to pay bills.
Yeah, because I don't want anybody to think you married a little sucker and I'm paying.
That's why I say our money goes.
I'm like, hold on.
Wait, all right, you guys out there. No, our money goes together.
Yeah, that's all. We got buckets. We got buckets. One bucket is for everything, then the bills, then the savings. And we can only be, grateful to say that even though we had some measurement in place, right? Sitting down and listening to y'all, when we got here, we got a much better perspective and view of it. You know what I mean? Because you shared some stuff where you got some stuff put aside that like it's flex money.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Flex money. That's what we want. We just want flex money. Like, babe, you want something? Oh, go ahead, take it out of that bag over there.
But you gotta work together.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You shared with us the habits.
Yeah.
You shared us with the habits.
And I like that you say that word, habit.
Yeah, that's the
Right?
discipline.
Because I feel like a lot of marriages today, right? It's selfish.
Yeah.
What's yours is yours. What's mine, mine. You do you, I do me.
Yeah.
Right, and we've never been like that, thank God. But we know people who are, just separation.
Yeah.
And I think in marriage,
He's paying the gas bill and the electric
I'm paying
bill.
the light.
He's paying the water bill and well, y'all should have just been dating.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, because the Bible says you should become one.
Right.
So why is this dualistic in the sharing of the bills and stuff? That's crazy, but that's something else we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's deal with communications.
Yes.
Communication, because every household got some issues.
Oh, yeah.
Every household got some issues. When we came into our marriage, I was perfect, and I said purpose. I didn't say perfect.
It's like me.
But when I came into marriage, I had already been in a marriage. So was Kathy. But I channeled all my mistakes in the first marriage. And I said, I will not do it in the second marriage, right? And I kind of tried to wanted to set a standard on how I respond to situations and how I deal with situations, how I present myself in situations. So when we first had our first argument, Kathy wanted to quit. And I'm going,
That's because you marry an island woman. You didn't know about a island. Like Dr. Brown.
What is that all
I
about?
wanted to quit, Pastor Brown. I said, this is not going to work.
So I said we had an argument. It was an event in a long journey. It's not the journey, it's an event that took place. How do you recover from it to make the journey even better was my perspective, but she wasn't used to that because she was used to
Uh,
going
we
back
gotta-
and
we gotta-
forth.
that's okay.
How do you deal with communication?
I would say communication is obviously key, but this is going to sound funny. In marriage, to me, it's developed
Mhm.
over
Mhm.
time.
Yes, sir.
Strategy
That's key.
Yes, sir.
that you don't. Okay, you're first married, and maybe you have your first argument, and we tend to. I'm going to make sure I'm clear. Do you understand what I'm saying? And each side
right.
wants their side, because I believe very strongly on what I'm saying.
Mhm.
You believe very strongly on what you're saying. And we're missing common ground.
Okay.
We're missing common ground, or we're not making common ground.
Mm.
And neither one wants to be
That's good.
bullied or felt that as a man, I don't want to feel like I'm being punked.
Right.
And as a woman, she don't want to feel that this man is running over me. So now we don't say that, but that's
That war.
part of the picture. That's part of the chemicals that are going around. And so I think we have to try to do things to head that off
Mhm.
in the beginning of a marriage. That's how come I do believe when people are really seriously thinking of marriage counseling, because anybody, and I really want to be very clear on this, anybody could be happy when everything is going right.
Yes,
sir.
When you got all the money,
Mhm.
when I'm looking at you and I'm feeling good, you're looking at me. But when things start to go wrong, my marriage strength or our marriage strength is not when you see me and Donna holding hands and skipping.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's when I'm upset with her, she's with me, and I'm pulling this way,
I like
and
that.
she's pulling
I
that way.
like that.
That's when we're really showing the strength of our marriage. That even though right now we're in a tug of war,
Right.
we're staying together.
Yeah.
There's something that we have to where we're not going to pull so hard that we break it.
Right. Right.
I'm gonna pull.
Right.
And she's saying I'm gonna pull.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna get stupid.
Yeah.
We're gonna pull a little bit.
Right.
But we're gonna also learn how to make some rules
Mhm.
in this, because sooner or later you have to make rules.
Right.
And if I could just throw this out very quickly, one of the things I remember I had told her, because once we had gotten in an argument in front of the kids, and she said, no arguing in front of the kids. Now, I believe in it, and I'll explain why. And I explained to her what our children can't learn how they're supposed to behave in marriage unless they have an object or something to pull back on.
Mhm.
So if they see mommy and daddy arguing, and then one grabs the hand and say, guess what, we're going to pray about this.
Mhm.
That becomes something different. We're arguing, and one says, you know what, I see you feel very strongly about that. I feel strongly about that. Why don't we just wait and talk about it? The reason our children act the way they do, and they get divorced so quickly, or the argument escalates into a place where it shouldn't, is because a lot of them never saw
Mhm.
an alternative.
Yeah.
Right.
I
Thank you
want
too.
to just add one more thing to it too, is when you asked about communication. I think it's how do you communicate? I think it's timing as well.
Mhm.
So a quick thing is just example. As Gordon was saying, how long his day was normally when he used to come from work in the evening. So now I'm coming from where I'm there before him. So as soon as he gets in, I want to tell him all about my day.
Right.
This is what happened, and I'm the one picking the kids up,
Mhm.
and all of that, and so I'm ready to tell them about, this and that. But so I had to change that because it was like, give me a chance, my bag down, relax, and de-escalate. Sometimes
Yeah.
you need that,
Right.
Now with me, my de-escalation was it was still like a 45-minute drive. So that was my time to de-escalate.
Okay.
So by the
Yeah.
time I got home,
You
it was
already
good.
done. Yeah.
Yeah, but so sometimes, so you got to know
Timing.
your partner, and you got to know your
It's true.
timing, and when to talk.
Right,
to
right,
them. I think
right.
it's important.
Because some conversations, it's pick and choose the battle, right? Some
Right.
conversations are not worth having right now.
Absolutely.
Because Kathy loved to tell me about her day.
Yeah.
And I never deviate away from it. I listen, but don't listen, right? But I know she's saying something she wants me to hear. Yeah, so I get my little nuggets every once in a while. She's like, did you hear me? Yeah, you said so and so. I just caught that last statement.
Right.
One of the things I took away, you and I had a conversation a while back, and this is what helps me too. We're going back with like, how do you deal with conflict in marriage or disagreement, right? And I always think about the good things that Eric does,
Right.
and he can tell you I've changed a lot because I was usually I'm ready to go in. Hush. And I remember you and I had a conversation. You told me about someone that used to argue or disagree with their husband for little things, big things, and their husband passed. And they said, I would give anything to argue with him now.
No.
And he's not
Yeah.
here.
Yes.
And that stuck with me.
Yes.
You didn't know, but it
Yes.
stuck with me
Okay.
a lot. So whenever, and Eric can tell you, whenever we don't argue, we disagree, obviously,
Right.
he get on my nerves, but I change the way I see things because he has so much good in him that the good outweigh the bad, right?
That's what's important.
And I'm like, life is so short.
So short.
I'm not gonna spend time
Right.
being mad at him. I'll still be upset.
Right.
Give me my moment. Let me breathe. Right? Give me my moment. But he can come and say 5 minutes after, baby, are you okay? Yeah, I'm good. Whereas before, baby, you okay? And I shut down for a
Right.
week.
And don't let it ruin your day.
Correct.
Your whole day.
Yes,
It may ruin a
yes,
few
yes.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
But
But
the whole
that
day.
changed me.
but I also think
Like that.
one of the things, the way I look at things, we have to understand that's part of the journey.
Yeah.
That's part of the journey in marriage. That's part of the journey in friendships. That's part of the journey on your job. That's
Yeah.
part of the journey in church.
Yeah.
That's part of the that there are
Yeah.
ups and downs.
Yeah.
There is nothing in this life that is good all the time.
Right.
Sooner or later,
How do you feel?
there are times Gordon don't like Gordon.
Not you, Pastor Brown.
I'm like, you ever make a mistake or you do something not purposely, but
Right.
yeah, was like
I do it.
I lose my mind, do I have dementia or something? What's going on with me?
Right.
So, but if we overcharge it to where when we're arguing or have a disagreement in life, there's 7 different words for love in the Greek. One is called pragma. We oftentimes in the church talk about the other love, agape.
Agape, yeah.
Now, everybody talks about agape, but there's another one called pragma. And pragma love is a love that is always used in marriage and friendships. It represents a love that 2 individuals, maybe friends, homeboys who grew up together, have lasted as friends. What kind of friendship have y'all had with somebody you grew up with for 30, 40, 50, 60 years? That's pragma love. They use it a lot in marriage because that's a love that went through some ups and downs, and the friends still stay together.
Yeah.
The friendship still remains. The marriage still remains. So it's a friendship. It's a love that took some black eyes sometimes, but it held together.
Yeah.
Right.
And Eric always say this, right? Give yourself grace. because we're not perfect.
Right.
We're not always going to get it
Absolutely.
together. And
Absolutely.
that always as well stuck with me because
Mm.
I'm allowed to give myself, not just myself, but others grace who've done me wrong. And believe me, as
It takes
island
time.
folks,
It
No,
takes
yes,
time.
that's it, Donna. Time,
Wait.
time is, hold on. No,
It takes time.
time is the backdrop of life that God gave every man to get himself together.
Mhm.
Without time,
Yes, thank
no
God.
one can get themselves together.
And His grace.
Right? Thank you.
Yeah.
Patience, grace, and if I always, me and Kat talk about this. When it comes to marriage, it has to be two parties involved.
Yeah.
You
And you have to
if you
want it.
if you yeah, because if you in a marriage and one don't want to go to counseling and you having trouble, and this one don't that's not going to work.
Yeah.
You have to agree that we got problems 1st.
Mhm.
If there's
Right.
problems,
Right.
so Kathy said we don't argue. Now we don't argue,
Right.
Because we've elevated ourselves to
It's
the
a
point
growth
where
process.
Yeah.
yes, so we may be disappointed in situations,
Right.
we may have disagreements, but we ain't gonna argue about it.
Right.
Right.
We're not, and if we go to bed, we still kissing before we go to sleep.
No, that's good.
And when I wake up in the morning, I go to work, I kiss her before I go to work.
Yeah.
I'm still mad or tense,
Yeah.
but we make it a point not to let that be the reason for a bad day.
And that's
Because we're going to overcome it eventually. So
Yeah.
why waste time, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days,
Right.
cut it off at the best time and move now.
And then I get mad that, he kissed me, I'm sleeping, he leave 5 in the morning. I text him, I'm still mad. Oh, so you're not gonna kiss me when you leave? I'm sleeping. He's like, I did, baby. I'm like, oh, okay.
You mad in your head. You mad in your head. So let's finish with the last question.
Okay.
So the last question is, and this is for both of you, not even a question, no, it's not a question. It is how,
It is a question if you start
no,
with how.
I'm sorry, what is it that
What?
you would give to a married couple now? One that's coming out of divorce, wanting to be married again,
That's a good
or
question.
one that is just snug, coming together, that's getting married, right, young or old. What is the most,
What advice would you give them?
yeah, but the most substantial advice in your opinion? Because we all got our opinion.
I think Gordon's is probably going to be longer than mine, so I'm going to go first.
Okay.
What would you give someone that's
Getting ready to
coming
get
out,
married.
getting ready to get married?
Or
Well, first, I would say they have to know themselves first.
yes.
Know themselves as far as, there's so many things, emotionally. Are you really ready emotionally? And what makes you, take out the lust part of it.
Yes.
Take all
Yes.
of that out. Why is it that now? Is it because of I'm 40 years old and I want to get married?
Mhm.
Or, I'm 35 and it's my clock is ticking, and I need to find someone. So I think emotionally first, they have to be ready emotionally to say, yeah, this, I'm ready to do this. I want to commit to someone, and they have to really make sure that they're mentally ready,
Right.
and of course also financially, because then are you going
Yes,
to be a
God.
financial burden to that person? Are you going to marry because hey, this guy could take care of me?
Mhm.
So it's there's so much
Amen.
that you have to. And is there anyone that's going into it perfect? No,
Mm.
but you have to have
Right.
some,
Right.
at least some of the pieces together
Yeah.
to know that. I think definitely emotionally that you have to be ready, and mentally trustworthy. You have all those pieces.
Yeah.
There's so many pieces that
Yeah.
pieces of a puzzle
Yeah.
that have to come together
Okay.
with that. So
Right.
some of it.
All
Yeah.
right.
I'm gonna use one word I used already and another. It has to be commitment
Yeah.
and sacrifice.
Mhm.
If I'm going to get married, or me marrying Donna, I have to have the mindset that in our future, we're going to have some challenges.
Mhm.
Some that I can't see now, some that may be very severe. But in spite of that, I am making a commitment that I will sacrifice and still treat you as my wife in spite of what has happened.
Yeah.
That we will be preserved
Mm.
in that.
Yeah.
And when you have two individuals who are looking at it in that light, to where I am committing to you that I will do whatever I need to do to preserve us.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's important.
Then
That's
we
it.
got a good, we got a good
Yeah.
footing.
That's
That's
rich.
deep.
That's rich.
I
That's
like
rich.
that.
Yeah.
Emotions, well, emotionally, mentally, commitments, sacrifice, and if I was gonna say good Lord,
Financially.
financially, right, and effort.
Effort, yeah.
All this calls for effort.
Effort.
You can have a mind, but don't have a will.
Right.
You understand? You can have them. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this, but you ain't got no will to do it.
Right.
So will you have to? You got to put the effort in to make it work. Because every day I get up to make sure I love my wife the way I'm supposed to love her, I put effort into it.
Effort.
I just don't say it, walk away from it, and think it's gonna happen. You know.
It's gonna happen.
So it's only no. I'm going to put the efforts into it. I love y'all so much. I don't know if I ever shared it with y'all,
Bless you.
but I love y'all.
We love you.
I love y'all.
You could have put this together, but God.
You know,
That's true.
I'm trying to tell y'all. They don't know our story. You feel me? They don't know me and you were both ministers in a church. We never really communicated with one another. When you ministered, I said, man, you did a good job. I ministered, you said, man, you did a good job. And that was it.
Right.
Y'all two really didn't even have a relationship in
Right.
church like that yet, right?
It was the mind.
Of course. God is a wise man, right?
He does everything in perfect timing, you know?
And we got to know you by one conversation between you two.
Yeah.
And like we're coming down, oh God, y'all come see us and da da da. And I'm like, Cat, I ain't going to nobody's house. You know, I'm like staying overnight at nobody's house. Got down in the hospitality.
Yeah.
I felt like, yo, they real Christians. Like, you know, you deal with some Christians that are just, you know, it is what it is, right? But y'all presented your godliness in the greatest form that I could ever imagine. And from that day, y'all have been truly some role models to me, mentors to me, in this thing we call love and marriage. So I thank you.
Absolutely. We appreciate you guys. Definitely.
Love you guys.
So we are going to pray you guys, pray us on out. And again, y'all, please tune in to us. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel.
Yeah.
If there's a marriage out there that wants to come out and hang out with us and, you know, sit on the Godcast, just tag us. Because we ain't trying to look for nobody or give nobody no favor. We're looking for anybody that's willing to be transparent, open, honest, and trustworthy to God. That's all we want.
Yeah.
We want people to use wisdom when they're giving their stories, and you know, don't put yourself out there where people can't handle your truth. But at the end of the day, ask God to let your truth come through the face of wisdom. So we say, God, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for this day. Thank you for our lovely brother and sister who came out to bless us and pour into the lives of those that are getting married, wanting to be married, or already is married and struggling, but wanting to be better in the marriage. We give you praise, glory, and honor. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Hey.
Talk about love. Let's talk about love, the good and tough. Through all the ups and downs, we're strong enough. The marriage is work, but it's worth the fight. Let's dive into our life, shining love's light. Two hearts, one road. Walking side by side, highs and lows. Got nothing to hide, love's a journey. So we state the facts, making this eternity.